TITANE wins out this year mainly because it tells an epic story in scope, it's thematically rich, deliciously deviant, and just plain downright strange and wrong. The director of Raw is back at the top of this list again with a movie that is almost uncategorizable, but it's oozing with body horror, murder, mayhem, painful gore, and surprises galore. TITANE was released on the first day of last year, and every other film that came after it failed to top what Julia Ducournau has achieved. There really is no other film like it in the past year, making it my number one pick for 2021-2022. This is M.L. Miller Fright's Best in Horror Countdown 2021 through 2022. Counting down the best in horror films released from October 1st, 2021 through September 30th, 2022. According to me, M.L. Miller. Here we go. Number 1. TITANE was released on October 1st, 2021. It's streaming on Hulu from Neon Pictures. It's directed and written by Julia Ducournau. I struggle with writing a summary and review of TITANE, as I think that the way this film is structured, spoilers have to be revealed in order to simply talk about this epic tale of cars, murder, and one damaged woman. If you want to save yourself from spoilers, simply click on the link to the very ambiguous trailer below, and if you find yourself intrigued, go see it. My non-spoilerific review is the following. I loved every bizarre, heartbreaking, and imaginative second of Julia Ducournau's new film. So there's your review. If you don't care for spoilers or have seen the film and want more from me, press on. Alexa, played by Agathe Roussel, is an auto show dancer who survived a brain injury as a child resulting in a metal plate in her head and an affinity towards cars rather than people. She's an extremely damaged person who has difficulty relating to other people, exemplified when she loses control and begins a murder spree in the opening moments. On the run for the police, she adopts the identity of a child that went missing a decade ago and turns herself in. Enter Vincent, played by Vincent Linden, the missing child's father, who is over the moon when it seems his son has returned. He's trying to accept that his quote-unquote son has returned to him very different than before. All the while, Alexa attempts to keep the ruse going in order to avoid the authorities, but that's getting more difficult as she's very pregnant with what seems to be a human-car hybrid, which is the result of an extremely passionate night with one of the automobiles she dances upon. Julia Ducournau's second film, TITANE, is another masterpiece from a filmmaker that seems to exist to bring new and strange ideas to celluloid. With her first film, Raw, she delivered an extremely intimate and grotesque look at the sexual awakening of a young girl thinly veiled as a cannibal movie. With TITANE, she tackles some of the same subjects as there is body horror, as well as a confused protagonist attempting to fit into a world that she feels utterly alien to. But TITANE tells a story from a slightly broader scope, widening the lens to focus on a pair of protagonists, both going through horrifying experiences in order to attain some kind of inner peace that they know very little about. Ducournau has crafted two terrifically twisted characters in Alexa and Vincent. Both are different as can be, but somehow, through the trials they share, they come to some kind of understanding they didn't have without each other. Much like the films of Pedro Almodovar, Alex de la Iglesia, and other prolific filmmakers who don't follow the normal format of storytelling and whose tales span decades and defy the borders of the genre, Ducournau ultimately tells stories unlike what we as Hollywood-infected viewers are used to. TITANE follows one character for half the movie and then launches an equally interesting story and somehow makes both work together. It's because of these storytelling risks that make TITANE a film that will appeal to writers most. It's simply creative in the span of time, in the way the film begins, and how it gets to its ultimate end. That said, TITANE falters a bit in that it relies on one of the most formulaic modes of storytelling as its spine, ending with the birth of whatever it is Alexa is pregnant with. TITANE begins with an assault, as Alexa is stalked by an obsessed fan. While the film shows us that Alexa wards off the attacker and goes off to have sex with her car, we can't really rely on Alexa as a trustworthy narrator with a firm grip on the world around her. So my theory is that Alexa was really raped by her attacker and only came to grips with it believing that she had sex with something she really loves, which is the car she dances on. It's the bulletproof coating that she uses to protect her vulnerable side, much like the titanium plate she has protecting her brain after the injury. So while the ending might be some kind of trite, sitcom-y way of wrapping the story up, the road there is incredibly nuanced with metaphor and depth. Stripping away the metaphors and delusions, and you have a story about a woman assaulted and impregnated and how she deals with all of it, making TITANE a deeply powerful psychological descent. The surprising thing, though, is how damn uplifting the ending turns out to be. But TITANE doesn't just dazzle in story. The cast dazzles as well. Agathe Roussel is fearless as Alexa. While she speaks very little, her physical movement speaks volumes. Her body dance on the car in the opener, and her timid dance towards the end sandwiches a story told through physical gesture and nuance. Vincent Linden's role as Vincent is equally characterized through his physical presence. He lives in a world where he is top dog as the fire chief among a group of rowdy man-children, and feels he must defeat the natural aging process through steroids. While this isn't as viscerally horrifying as Alexa's transformation, it is made equally palpable through Linden's heart-wrenching performance. This is just another example of the complex thematics that dissect what it means to be male, female, and all the complexities in between. Adding on to the greatness is a truly unique and thunderous soundtrack that gives each scene a personality, be it the raunchy spectacle of the car show dance, the sweaty firehouse mosh pit, or the intimate moments Alexa shares with a fellow dancer, played by Raw's Garance Marillier. Everything has a distinct and unique sound and music set to it. This is a soundtrack I definitely will be sampling for my own enjoyment as well as inspiration. TITANE is another huge achievement for director Julia Ducournau. It's sexy, horrifying, intriguing, bizarre, thought-provoking, and truly unlike any movie you're likely to see. While I think Raw is a much more intimate and engrossing film, TITANE shows that the director is someone I will always pay attention to. There are brutal scenes of action and gnarly effects to see with this one. I highly recommend this film that is much more than just a horror movie. TITANE is a truly unique and entertaining journey of two terribly damaged people and the arduous place where their lives intersect. As always, feel free to agree, disagree, or give me your own picks for your favorite horror movies. It's October, so let's talk horror. But wait, the fun isn't over, folks. Tomorrow I'm going to throw out a list of horror films that I was most disappointed in over the last year. With all this horror goodness, often comes a whole lot of bad, and that's what tomorrow's list is all about. I'll see you then. Be sure to hit all of the pertinent bells and whistles down below, and you'll never miss a post. Happy Halloween, folks.